All right, boys, welcome back. Today we're going to be going over a game of one of my students. My student Yoel here used to be rated about 200. Now he's rated about 600. He wants to improve, so I'm just going to go through his games, show him some things he did right, show him some things he did wrong. Maybe make fun of him a little bit depending on how this game goes. But if you're someone who's rated about 600, this video is definitely for you. You can pick up some tips and you can see what to do, what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. So let's go ahead and get started. The game starts with b3, e6, bishop b2, bishop c5, and Yoel, you played knight f3. So first of all, this is already a mistake for both of you. Your opponent was actually already losing on move 2. So all you have to do is just take this pawn on g7. And if you take the pawn on g7, the rook is trapped. Can't go anywhere, there's nothing for it to do. So if he plays knight f6 trying to get it out, it's too late. You just take the rook, and that is the end of that. Okay, so definitely shame on him for losing in 2 moves, but shame on you for not seeing that. So, okay, knight f3, c6. This is still hanging. You can definitely still just take that. e4, queen b6, making a threat. So interestingly, in this position, you can still take on g7, and even if he takes on f2 and you play king e2, it looks bad, but it's not bad. This rook is still trapped. Your king is totally safe. You're going to play d4 maybe at some point, like, for example, if something silly, you can play d4, maybe trap this bishop. Um, this is completely winning for white. Okay, but that's not what actually happened. What you did here was you played d4. d4 is not bad. You're protecting f2, but you still don't win. So bishop b4 and knight c3. I don't like knight c3 because in this position, you just walk directly into a pin, and now your knight can't move. I think instead c3 is much better, or knight d2, just not pinning yourself. But okay, here f6, a3, takes, e5. Okay, so that's a mistake. Good, takes and takes. You took with the bishop, which is good. Knight takes is probably better. But either way, you're winning a pawn, and you're totally winning. I mean, if you look, all of these pieces are just totally clogged up, and you're up material. So this is already a great start for you. d6. So again, this pawn on g7, it's just hanging. So all you really have to do is just take this pawn and just go ahead and win. But you don't. In addition, you could have also just taken the pawn on d6 with either one of these pieces. Okay, so I don't know what's going on with some pawn g7 blindness, but okay, d6, bishop b2, bishop g4. The pawn is still hanging with the rook there. Bishop e2. Okay, for God's sakes, you all just take the freaking rook. I mean, it's just been hanging the whole time. Okay, so knight b d7, queen d6, castles queenside, bishop e5, bishop d4 rather. I like this move. It hits the queen. Again, you still should have just taken this, but okay. c5 takes. Hooray! You finally take the pawn after like your 8th possible attempt. That pawn has just been there the whole time. Okay, good. So the rook is trapped. You're going to win that rook. Takes, 97, takes the rook, takes. Okay, so at this point, you're just completely winning. Um, this is equal, but you're up in exchange, plus you're up that pawn you won earlier, plus you're up the pawn you won on g7. So this is just completely winning for white. Castles, good move. Knight g6, bishop g4, king b8, g3, knight d7, f4. Okay, Yoel, just take the knight. The knight is free. Okay, it's just hanging there. All you got to do is just go right there, just take the knight. That's the end of that. Okay, so f4, knight f6, counterattacking this, bishop f5. So the one good thing is it looks like that you've just been winning the entire game, right? You're +8. Maybe you didn't win in the most efficient way, but you're still winning. So b6 takes the knight, takes. I like that you took this because you're winning, so you want to just exchange that piece. That makes a lot of sense. Rather c3. Okay, c3 I don't like. I don't like c3 because you just hang this pawn. Don't get me wrong, you're still winning even after he takes that pawn, but there's no reason to let him take that. You should definitely just play rook e1 and defend the pawn, or play e5 and attack his knight. There's no reason to just let him take this, especially now he's hitting c3 also. Okay, and you give him c3. So again, you're still winning because you're up a lot of pawns, but there's no reason to just let him take your stuff here. All right, takes, a4, king c7, a5, rook b8, a6, knight e2 check, king f2. So again, you're still just totally winning here. You're up in exchange. You have all these extra pawns. It should still be smooth sailing, but just be careful not to give away too many pawns or you can lose. All right, knight d4, h4. Not bad. You can kind of run through here now. Knight c2, rook b1. That's very good, getting your rook out of the way. Rook d8, rook c1, attacking the knight. Rook d2, king f3, knight d4. I mean, so far so good. All you have to do is just not get forked by this knight. Just move out of the way, and you'll be fine. King e3, good, attacking the rook. Knight b3, attacking your rook. Oh, hold on. This just loses. Now you're -2. What did you do? Let's see. Okay, this was a really, really, really bad move, and it actually could have lost you the game immediately. All he has to do is just take your rook, and when you take back, this rook is hanging, and it's just over. He has a knight, you have no pieces. This pawn is going to queen. So, Yoel, that move, rook f2, in this position, see, delete here. Yeah, rook f2 just loses. He can just take your rook, and it's game over. Interestingly, you could try maybe to escape by going after this knight. If you go after the knight this way, trying to say, okay, well, at least it's not so bad, he has rook b6, and then he can save both pieces. So even though you hit the knight and the rook, this doesn't work because he can save both. Did he have another way to try and defend? Let's see. If you try instead, let's say rook f2, rook c3, no, rook b1, yeah, he still just has, I guess, this move, and you can't take because rook check and he wins your rook this way with the skewer. Any other defenses? So rook here, king here. Aha, but then you have knight d2, takes and takes. So, you know, in this position, rook f2 was just completely losing, Yoel. You're very, very lucky that he just didn't take your rook and just win the game. So what does he play? Rook d4. So that's just a missed win. If you look at the eval bar, clearly in this position it is, you know, -2 for black, and then in this position it is +7 for white. So that is basically a queen's worth of blunders in one move there. Okay, rook c3, knight d2. Can't you just take that? Why can't you just take that? That's not what I meant. I meant, can't you just take this? Yes, you can. Okay, so you took a pawn. It's not bad to take this pawn. Oops, excuse me. Just go back. Let's go back here. Okay, you took this pawn, but instead, all you have to do is just take this knight. It's much better. Okay, take the pawn. See, that's the issue. Now, if you take the knight, he takes, you take, he takes the rook. So, for example, here, 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 you're still winning because you have all of these extra pawns, but you don't have the rook. So, it would have been better instead. Is that actually what happened? That might have actually been what happened. But what's better is just to win the knight. That is actually what happened. So, okay, so here takes, takes, totally winning. King e3. So king e3 is a perfectly fine move. King here. But the move I don't like so much is king e4. It still wins, but it's much better to just hurry up and queen. So all you have to do is just play g4, let him take, h5, takes, and just go make a queen. It's 1, 2, 3 squares away, whereas this king is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 away, so he's not going to make it. Plus it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from queening, so you're going to queen first. So I think it's better here for you to just play g4, h5, and go make a queen. But okay, king e4 is still winning. Here, still winning. So this is winning. We have to be careful because you're wasting a lot of time, right? You're moving the king, you're trading pawns. Meanwhile, he's doing stuff here. So if he got like 1 or 2 moves in, he could actually get a draw. Luckily, you are still, again, luckily you're just in time, but g4 is just unnecessary, right? Just take the pawn, go make a queen. Okay, so here, g4, let's see, takes, king takes, a6. All right, so at this point, you're just closer, right? All you have to do is just queen this pawn, and you queen first. Here, 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 here. Queen. Okay, so I like the way that you finished this off here. You played queen check, blocking that king off. And this is very important. When the king goes on to the 8th rank, you put your queen on the 7th, and you keep it down. Make sure it doesn't escape. and then here you just promoted to a rook and checkmated. So definitely, good technique at the end there. I really like how you promoted the pawn, how you pinned the queen down, how you made the rook and then checkmated him. Also, I like how you promoted to a rook for maximum disrespect instead of promoting to a queen. Um, the only real big criticism I have is just early on in the game, all the way back here, all the way really back on move two, all you really had to do was just take this pawn and you would have been winning. All right, so I hope that you get some good ideas from this. I hope you can use this to improve in some of your own games. And, thank you for sending me this game. It was really interesting. If anyone else wants me to analyze their games, please just send them over and I'm happy to do that. All right, guys, see you next time.